February 13th, Crime 101 hits theaters.
What is it that you do?
I take high-value items and make them disappear.
So you're a thief.
This guy's a ghost. There's no DNA. He's in and out in seconds.
Your guy's untraceable.
Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, and Halle Berry. One crime connects them all.
We're good at this.
Yeah.
Crime 101, directed by Bart Layton. Rated R, under 17 on admitted without parent. Only in theaters February 13th.
Adam Pally here.
And I'm John Gabris.
We're a couple actors and best friends who you may know as the hosts of the TV show 101 Places to Party Before You Die.
Now, we're bringing you a comedic look at health and wellness with our new show, Staying Alive.
We'll have guests like our friend, actor Jerry O'Connell,
Ketamine therapist, Dr. Stephen Radowitz,
Paul Scheer,
Ego Wodo,
Jillian Bell,
Dr. Doolittle. Staying Alive with John Gabris and Adam Pally is out right now.
Get them a week early and ad-free with SiriusXM Podcast Plus on Apple Podcasts.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because, let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
You can support this podcast at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, an office worker finds herself in the middle of intrigue when thieves make off with billions in a high-tech pension fund heist. We'll talk about the thriller series Steal on Prime Video. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband, love of my life, my favorite snowblower, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Well, thanks, Rebecca. We got creamed here, but Toby apparently, we'll hear from Toby.
We got like 2 feet.
Yeah. Laura, did you have to do any shoveling yourself?
No. So I was in my condo. They do that for me. And I was up in the North Country at Lance's condo. And all I had to do was clean my car off to go skiing.
Yeah.
But it was deep. And it wasn't too heavy. I mean, it was pretty fluffy snow.
That's it. It is freezing as hell, but that also keeps the snow to powder so you could kick it off.
Yeah, it's real powdery.
But it was what I call a two-blower. Got to blow the driveway twice. Keep up on it.
Oh.
That's what that means?
That's what that means.
What a relief.
Jesus.
You know, in Valencia on, I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday, but it was rainy and windy, and the streets were strewn with oranges. Oranges were blown off the trees everywhere.
Oh, my goodness.
How tragic.
But you will rebuild.
Yes.
We will, yeah. They people soldiered on.
Valencia strong.
Valencia strong.
Also with us, private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of The Final Curtain, Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hello, Rebecca.
And finally, our captain of all things cynical, author of a City trilogy, host of Rip Current, More Like Ancient Phalians, Strange Arrivals, and our Patreon book club podcast, Toby Ball. Hola, Nanya.
Hola, Rebecca.
So, Kevin, this is Monday's program. What's coming up on... That's right, Rick D's in the morning.
Yeah. Rick D's in the morning. Tell us what time it is. All right.
So, Kevin, what's coming up on Thursday's program?
It's a podcast from The Intercept called Collateral Damage. It looks at people who died in the drug war.
Okay. Well, I think we should talk about the thing we're talking about on this podcast. What do you think, Kevin?
I like your efficiency.
We've already gotten our snow tails out of the way.
Toby was talking earlier about how beautiful the weather is.
I know.
In Valencia.
And we were like, you can go
You
take
can
a
go
leap.
fuck yourself, Toby. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, Kevin, let's get to it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Leading off.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do exactly what I say when I say it, you won't get hurt. If you don't do what I say when I say it, you will be shot.
A group of armed thieves forced their way into a London investment firm which manages pension funds. In order to move billions of pounds into an offshore account, low-level office worker Zara Dunne is forced to complete the transaction with a gun to her head.
I just got the trade you guys sent through. I've never seen these accounts before. BVI, right? What are they?
It's just some new hedge funds we're getting into.
Pretty big amounts for new hedge fund investments. $4 billion.
Yep.
DCI Rhys Covac thinks the heist isn't all that it seems and is paired with forensic accountants and MI5 operatives to unravel the operation. As Covac investigates her coworker Luke, Zara finds herself in the middle of a high-stakes caper looking for a way out.
If I catch the people who did this, my investigation hasn't failed.
Okay, so you're using me. You are just as bad as the others.
You need to find some armed robbers before they kill you, right? I'm an armed robbery cop. So maybe, if it makes you feel better, you're using me.
The 6-episode series Steal on Prime Video stars Sophie Turner. The thriller puts her character in the crosshairs of cold-blooded spies, crypto robbers, and the cops looking for the missing billions. Was the theft of the workers' retirement money an inside job? Was it a cash grab? Or was it a political statement? Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about plot points from Steal. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. So Laura, let's talk about the beginning of this show. It's a heist, is it not?
Yeah, it's a heist. The opening scene is great. You've got like this giant skyscraper with like lots of windows. You've got like this dramatic music. I was a little freaked out by the gang of robbers that comes in because I was like, are they wearing those creepy face masks? Oh my God.
Prosthetics.
I was like, creepy faces, creepy faces, creepy faces. But other than that, they've got location, costuming, suspense, the music. It just immediately sets you up to be like, okay, this is going to be a fun show.
Yeah. The nosebleed was a little bit of a red herring, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of like, I was like, okay, so what's she doing? Like some coke to keep herself going because they make them work 50,000 hours in this private equity firm or wherever they're at.
I really loved how she had one spot of blood on her shirt that's never addressed, but it just adds to her general like sloppiness. Toby, what did you think about the first episode of Steal?
I thought it was awesome. That was my favorite episode of one of these kinds of shows that I've seen in a long time. Just even the beginning where the guy's on the tube and these little schoolgirls are like the only people on the tube who like realize there's something weird about him. They keep like kind of checking him out. He's like sort of staring them down a little bit. Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, it's a great heist sequence. It's detailed. It all seems to make sense. There's this propulsive music that really adds to the suspense. And then when they take the music out, that also adds to the suspense. After the first episode, I was so psyched that there was going to be 7 more episodes of this. Which didn't actually end up happening, although
because there were only 5 more episodes.
That's right. That's right. I spent a lot of time thinking there were 8 episodes and wondering how the hell they were going to stretch it out any further. But yeah, I thought the first episode was great. I was super psyched for the rest of it, and we'll talk about it later. I do think this is like above the usual quality for these kinds of things. I was it couldn't sustain that, but you don't want to punish them for having a brilliant beginning that they can't sustain over 6 hours.
Yeah, I thought the opening was fantastic as well. Super suspenseful, as you say, the whole sort of like slow burn to, with Sophie Turner, I guess Zara, right? Her character is totally believable as like this innocent bystander. That telephone call sequence was amazing.
You got all the AML in order?
Yeah. Listen, I was supposed to send these over yesterday, but we sort of left early for the pub. But if they don't go through ASAP, I'm going to be in some serious shit. So if you could please just put them through as soon as you put the phone down, please.
Yeah. I just need to check something.
Like my friend used to say, this is wound tighter than a 12-day clock. The first episode was amazing, and I could totally have just been Dog Day Afternoon, 6 episodes of this. I would have been fine with it because the setup is very much like the Spanish language hit Money Heist. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's kind of like a holdup in, I think it's like the Spanish Mint or something like that. Yeah. And it's basically like a hostage situation, a bunch of, office workers and yada, yada. I'm like, I'm thinking this is going to be like the English adaptation of that. And if they all got stuck there overnight and they had to bring in pizza and whatever, like I would have loved that too. And then you have to think about, okay, the challenge is, what are you going to do for the next 5 episodes to sort of live up to this opening? A big flashy opening is great. You got to also follow up with an interesting middle and a big finale.
I'll say I really like seeing Sophie Turner not in Game of Thrones because that show
or with
did
the
her.
Jonas brother.
That show did her dirty, man. She 100% should have been sitting on the Iron Throne at the end of that show. That show did her so dirty, giving it to that stupid little brother. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen.
Yeah, I haven't even watched the first episode yet. I already know how it ends.
Well, I think the statute of limitations is over on that.
All right.
Well, didn't we have Toby commentate on the last episode one time?
We did, yes.
I don't even remember what the hell was going on. It was just all that stuff taken out of context was really strange.
There is this little twist at the end of episode 1, Laura, where, again, a slightly red herring. We're sort of led to believe that Sophie Turner is like the mastermind behind it for a moment there. Mm-hmm. What do you think of that switch and the fact that we find out she actually had this accomplice in her coworker, Luke, who was unable to actually do that phone call at gunpoint?
Yeah, well, that, you kind of wonder what's going on there when it's like she comes in and Luke just irritated me. I mean, is that what you're like? I found him to be like an annoying character.
No backbone.
I think they're watching me, Zara. I think they bugged my flat. It's game over. We're done. We're done.
No, Luke, I think you're stressed.
I have to call the police.
No, do not call the police.
Yeah, I'm like, just suck it up, man. You plan a fucking heist. You got to have some fucking nuts, Luke. Stop whining. I'm sorry they're hitting you, Luke. They put duct tape on your face, Luke. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you kind of get this setup where you realize that Zara's character, she's smart. You know from the beginning there is more to her, and you know that she's going to be a central character in this. And watching the opening where you see the nosebleed and you're like, okay, she's doing something to keep herself going. But, she presents in a way that seems like kind of disheveled at that point. And you think she's just like kind of like the party girl working at this place. And she's kind of like going out in the weekends and binge drinking and doing whatever. And I think that sort of messy setup really plays well when you start to get a sense that there is more to this, that she knows more that's going on, that obviously Luke got her into this after one of their nights out where basically she realizes she's never going to advance in this company, even when she gets this wonderful review. And he's like, hey, you can make $100,000. But I think setting her up to seem a little bit disheveled was like I liked the way that the plot used her in that way, because that then as it played out always had you kind of second guessing a little bit. Is she really? Is she, kind of like, is she really? And you're like, no. When you see her with that freaking like portable Bitcoin thing, you're like, okay, she knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like her review was, you're so good at what you do that you have to keep doing it forever.
Yeah. Like you're trapped here in freaking purgatory. I would want to rob it too, or I'd be like, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Well, that wasn't the intention. They didn't know that the robbery was going to happen. They just thought they were just going to like move a little money. Like they didn't give people access to the computers. They didn't realize it was going to be a physical.
They believed it was going to be a hack, not a whole.
Exactly. Not a whole gun
not
situation.
Die Hard, yeah.
Not beating up people. There's more than one way to kill somebody with a gun.
Yeah.
A thing we learned in this show. So, Toby, how do you feel about sort of the less suspenseful scenes? I mean, what happens in this essentially is that we as an audience are taken along on this ride to find out how she got sucked into this plot and now how she's going to get out of it. That's like the central tension here. And she has to do some stuff to help herself out, right? She ends up teaming up with this cops, sorta. They're sort of like cat and mousing a little bit. But what do you think of the methods that she uses to try to get information and do that? Do you think that works?
I think you always have to suspend disbelief on these things that some, mid-20s finance worker is going to have like this psychopathic bravery where they're willing to put themselves in all this danger for no particular reason. Not that she doesn't have things at stake or whatever, but it always seemed like there's like a safer way to do things than the way that she's doing them. I think after the first episode, or maybe a little bit further into the second episode, it starts to become pretty standard stuff. I mean, I think it's like slightly better plotted. I think there's a little more suspense than usual, but there is, it's like, okay, well, the two protagonists are going to team up at some point, and she's definitely going to have like a problematic background that's somehow going to cut, it's like all these kind of standard things, but I thought they were deployed pretty well. I don't know. I mean, I kind of felt like Sophie Turner, she managed to make most of it pretty believable that she would do this stuff, but she just like never panics really, which was always just like some guy's getting killed in front of her eyes. And she's just like, if I just stay really quiet and then jump out a window, everything's going to be fine.
For a person who's like characterized by her mother and others as not being willing to take risks.
Yeah.
We see her take an awful lot of risks, hacking into that guy's computer right in front of the office in midday, coming back to work in the same clothes 3 days in a row, hoping nobody will ask any questions.
They think she's sloppy.
They do
already.
think,
yeah.
Is that how she got away with it? They think she's sloppy?
Well, I mean, you say, why does she have like the same clothes? Everyone would be like, oh, well, she went through a lot.
Sleeping around.
Yeah, but she's also probably drunk, and that jacket does not fit her at all.
Walk of shame every single day.
Right. Yeah.
The thing where she's going through the computer of her boss's admin while she goes to get coffee or something. Like, if you ever worked in an office like that, there's no fucking way that like 30 people wouldn't see you doing that and wonder why you were like fucking around with their computer. Like that would just be, alarm bells would be ringing, but whatever.
Yeah.
And the big tension is, which printer do I send this to?
Yeah, exactly.
So much tension.
That's such a great deflection. Like, ding, ding. I'm like, I should use that.
Could have gone like to the collator and like goes to 5 printers instead,
I love that.
Toby like that one. Yeah.
Yes. So Kevin, why does MI5 have anything to do with this?
That's a good question. I mean, I think they're interested, but I never really got why, other than I guess they don't want the financial system to crash. It wasn't clear. I also didn't know why they keep threatening to kill Zara, but still want information from her. It's like, if you kill her, isn't that beside the point? It's like, he's got a syringe here and you'll be dead and it'll look like a heart attack. Come on, we have some questions for you. Who was involved? Are you really just because she was slightly insolent in public that you're just going to...
Insolent?
Insolent. Well, I mean, it's like, I'm not going to come to you. I'm going to eat my salad and you can fuck off. Why are you all wearing black suits? It's like, hey, we're keeping a low profile, spies. We're all dressed in black suits with black ties and, really sharp haircuts. But in the end, I mean, I think they're just like everybody else. They're chasing the money, kind of like we did when we asked you to join us on Patreon.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, not as, violent or explicit. It's absolutely voluntary to join us at patreon.com/partners in crime media. We get all sorts of exclusive content on the Crime Writers On After Show this week. Toby is going to give us more Spanish adventures where his son came for a visit and you guys went to Barcelona?
Barcelona.
We'll hear all about what trouble you guys got into. Other exclusive content includes Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast, Married with podcast, and Rebecca's podcast with Mel Barrett, Something's Off.
Something's Off.
And then Laura Bricker has her exclusive Leave It to Bricker podcast, which this time Laura teaches us all about glue wine.
Yeah, it was a big snowstorm here in the Northeast up in New Hampshire. It's the perfect time.
Up and everywhere, Laura. The whole fucking country.
The whole fucking country.
Yeah.
So I am providing everybody with a great activity to do on that day when you are inside your house. I go behind the scenes with my favorite winemaker to learn how to make traditional glue wine.
With a weird wooden thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the glue wine hookah pipe thing that you
weird.
all drink out of as you're having like a communal glue wine party.
That's
funny.
nasty.
You got Toby's attention with
That
that
sounds
one.
awesome.
Yeah, and probably if the weather report is right, by the time this episode comes out, we'll be digging out of another one.
That's right.
But you can dig and snow blow and shovel with your ear pods in, listening to other content like Crime Writers On early and ad-free. You would have already known what our reviews are if you join us at the Let's Do What We Do level. And Deep Divers get to be official sponsors of Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast. Toby, you have Alex Segura and Livy Burdett joining you for your next taping. What is the book you're talking about?
It's called The Lumumba Plot, The Secret History of the CIA and a Cold War Assassination by Stuart Reed. And I'm here to tell you, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it.
It's one of those books where the title is like a synopsis of the whole book.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
But it's super interesting. It's really well written, moves along. Like sometimes you get these nonfiction books that say, reads like a thriller, and they never do. But this one actually kind of does. So,
Cool. Another way that you can support us, actually help yourself here by getting our free newsletter. You go to crimewriterson.com, put in your email, and on Thursday, you get a newsletter that includes more Crime Writers On behind the scenes, the pet of the week, the crime of the week, the post of the week, and you also get links to our new merch, and people are eating up the new design. They're getting t-shirts, getting coffee mugs, they're getting tote bags that all say, Tu gato es elegante.
Elegante.
sweeping the country.
Sweeping the country. It's international. Everybody loves having something that commemorates the extent of Toby's Spanish.
Yes. There we go.
Commemorates his lack of preparation for moving to a different country.
Go. Exactly.
All right, Kevin, does thus end our business section?
Thus ends the business section.
Let's go ahead and fade that music out.
On February 13th, Crime 101 hits theaters.
What is it that you do?
I take high-value items and make them disappear.
So you're a thief.
This guy's a ghost. There's no DNA. He's in and out in seconds.
Your guy's untraceable.
Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, and Halle Berry. One crime connects them all.
We're good at this.
Yeah.
Crime 101, directed by Bart Layton. Rated R, under 17 on admitted without parent. Only in theaters February 13th.
He's Kenny Mayne, the funny guy from ESPN.
Formerly. He's Cooper Manning, the more intelligent and handsome of the Manning brothers.
And he's Brian Baumgartner. But to me, he'll always be Kevin from The Office.
Yeah, you and everybody else. Together, we're the hosts of the new comedy golf podcast, We Need a Fourth.
From Smartless Media and SiriusXM.
It's like a cold beer after a round. You hear the strangest and most bizarre golf stories from our friends, athletes, celebrities, and comedians.
It's all about how much we love golf and how much we hate golf. New episodes are out every week. Listen now and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Could just be anywhere, just on a couch. Doesn't matter.
Come to DSW for the shoes, stay for the fun. Because, let's be honest, if shoe shopping isn't fun, are you even doing it right? So go ahead, try something new. Try something different. Good different. Try something that feels like you. You know, the real you. And then definitely brag about it later. Because at DSW, you've got unlimited freedom to play. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
So, Laura, this show does try to veer a little bit into the personal sometimes and sometimes not. Mm-hmm. What did you think about Zara's, the whole plot line with Zara's mother? We learned that her mother is kind of a POS, not very nice to her, and, very disappointed. We kind of figure out that that's why she's living this, safe existence, because she doesn't want to be chaotic like her mother.
Right. Yeah, I think the mother, definitely that character was played well. I think that it was also interesting to watch how it played out in terms of, she doesn't want anything to do with her mother, but then at a time of crisis, then she does have to find herself back with her mother, even though she doesn't want to be there.
Got me thinking about fixing things between us.
Oh, right, yeah. Patch it up with your mother and, that's one less thing to stress about.
Right, I suppose so. Yes. Is that so bad?
No, of course not. It's nice to know I made it onto the to-do list.
The mother is like, what does she say? She's like a psychiatric overnight nurse. And I'm like, you seem like you should be in a psychiatric facility. So it's one of those where you feel like, okay, there's a little bit more to the underbelly of the Zara character in terms of her backstory. That one was more believable to me than the dynamic that they tried to set up between her and this detective with the gambling addiction. I didn't buy into that at all. I'm like, I felt no romantic sexual tension between those characters. It was not believable at all. I'm like, why are they even sleeping together? How can he even get it up? He doesn't even seem like he there was nothing. There was nothing there.
No, they had no chemistry. I totally agree with you.
Face right now. No,
Laura, bring in the smoke.
Those scenes made me very dry. There was no chemistry there.
There was nothing. And I was like, this is the stupidest plot line of this whole thing. I had more sympathy for the guy who got stabbed, who was also in on it. Because that was an unfortunate death.
What do you think of the cop plot line, Toby?
Yeah, I get the impulse, which is to ratchet up tension for all the characters. And if he doesn't have that going on, where's the tension for him other than just sort of the pressure of trying to solve this? But yeah, I don't know. It kind of felt like this is one of those things where I think the less you know about the characters' backgrounds, that's probably just fine. You're really just watching them move around in the plot, and
like the thieves.
Yeah. Whether, Sophie Turner had a nice upbringing or a bad upbringing doesn't really affect the way that you experience the show. So whatever. I would have been bummed if they'd spent more time on it, but I just was like, he thinks he's probably going to get killed, and he's just too proud to take like a little bit of this money that this woman just like
I know, I'd be like, yes,
absconded
I'll take
with.
it.
It's just like fucking
Please.
sure, whatever. I helped you out with some stuff. I'll take some of your money.
I think so too. You also had a funny note about the cops' looks, which I liked.
Oh yeah. He's like the Rami Malek of Dominic West's. I mean,
you're so right.
He looks like they had a love child.
He does look like they had a love child.
It's strange.
Like Dominic West went back in time since like for 10 years before he was in The Wire and became young again, and
it
now
was
he's in
like
the show.
kind of skinny, like Rami Malek.
I actually like your idea of having a show like this and not knowing or needing to know anything about the people in it. Like I think about there's very few things like that. I think the first thing that came to mind for me was Speed with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. Like the whole movie takes place on this bus, right? We see her like sort of harried getting onto the bus. You've probably never seen it, Toby, right? Of course not.
I know the basic idea.
Yes, and basically like all the exposition happens on this bus, but like you don't see what their houses look like or who their family is or whether or not they have pets. Like none of that stuff matters, right? The only thing that matters is the action right there.
Well,
I don't know, Kevin. What do you? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this came up maybe last night when I was taping a different show, but the movie Gladbach. Remember that documentary about the bus that got hijacked in Germany?
Yeah. That was
and you
great.
never know anything about any of those people, but it's still super, super suspenseful. And you become, even though you don't know any of the backgrounds of these people, you see them and you become sort of invested in them. So I don't think you have to like make something up to make somebody feel like you can root for them or whatever.
Yeah.
Just fucking let it go. Just use that time to have more fun, suspenseful stuff and not maudlin, skulking around your childhood home.
But you do need to understand their motivations.
Do you?
Well, I think. Well, I mean, wouldn't you be like, "Well, why would she want £5 million?"
Well, what was
or
her
whatever?
motivation? Because
we found that out. Like, why would she go ahead and risk? I mean, I'm not saying it was done well, and I'm not saying that you can't do one where you don't have to find out about the alcoholic mother and all the trauma from the backstory. But I think that to some extent, you need to know why people are doing things. So then when they do something unexpected, that's sort of like where the conflict comes in, right? So I think you still need a little bit of salt in the soup here, but you don't have to overdo it.
What did she do that's unexpected?
What did she do that's unexpected?
Besides like being able to kill a mercenary in hand-to-hand combat, what else?
There's that.
What else does she do that? I mean, it just kind of felt, again, like you get this motivation and then she just kind of explains it, but for no real reason. I mean, she could just want the money, it's just like.
That's what I think she does. She just wants, and she thought it was going to be a lot less money than it actually was.
Right.
We're led to believe. What were you going to say, Laura?
Well, I was going to say, when you're talking about the motivations, like you were saying, Kevin, I think one of the things that I felt was weak in this was like this cast of robbers with their, prosthetic masks. I don't feel like I really understood anything about those people. I didn't feel like I had any connection to those people. I didn't feel invested in anything that they were doing. I feel like those characters needed to have a little bit more added to them. I'm like, okay, so they're all dead now. Do I care? Not really. Not even the guy who got tasered. And that was dramatic. Like, I don't know if anyone else felt that way. I just felt like I didn't feel anything. And maybe I didn't need to. Maybe that wasn't the point. But I felt like the suspense could have been even higher if I had bought into more of like, who are these people that are orchestrating this? You know what I mean?
And that's sort of the opposite side of the coin that we just talked about. Like all you need to know really is that they're ruthless and they want money. And in fact, these characters, with the exception of the guy who like goes rogue and they're like hunting for him, all the character, in the cast list, all of those bad guys have names like Glasses and London, and they just have like these like code names and nothing else about them. So to sort of like speak to the point about, we're just going to give you these characters, we're not going to give you any backstory.
Some thugs.
You figure they're thugs. That's all you need to know. And then like, do you get enough for the other character? Do you need for the other characters? I'm not saying one way or the other, but I generally think that an audience wants to know why someone is doing that. You certainly get it from the episode why Zara. Why she kind of needs money and why she feels alienated and whatever. But Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong that there are varying degrees of how to do that and how much to give in service of the story.
Did you see No Country for Old Men?
Yes. We don't know why that guy's coming after them like a zombie. We just know he is.
Yeah, and like the only motivation in the entire thing is like, oh, we've got all this money. And then he's like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have taken it. But that's it. It's just like there's money and this guy's got it and this other guy's trying to get it. And there's like a little bit of backstory about how it's drugs and stuff. But like it doesn't detract from it that you don't know how Josh Brolin was like brought up, like what his mom was like or something. I mean, it's just, the suspense is just around this suitcase full of cash and like who's going to be able to hold on to it. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's like a thing that made or broke the show, but it is kind of for a show that seemed to do a lot of stuff pretty well, or at times, I guess, like those parts just felt like they were kind of put in because they had to be put in to me. Yeah. And there's other stuff that I felt like kind of was probably, I don't know how it went, but I could see getting a script and being like, yeah, this is pretty good, but you can't have these two main characters not be on screen at the same time more often. You got to like flesh out these characters a little more by showing their backstories. And don't do that. It's better if you don't.
I actually agree with you, Toby. I think about No Country for Old Men is a very good example because that movie is scary as hell. Another good example would be like sometimes movies open where you know nothing about the people and they go into backstory later and it's like you're already invested just because of what you've seen them do. I think about my favorite show of all time, The Americans. Philip and Elizabeth have no backstory because they're spies and they were sent here and like they're just blank slates to us. All we know is that they are spies and that they kill people. So everything they do is surprising because you're like, oh, I didn't know that she could do that. I didn't know that he could do that. When did he learn to do that? And then by the time we get their backstory, it's like season 4 or something. And you're like, oh, here they are as kids being trained in Russia. That's interesting. But you're already... you've already kind of bought into this whole thing. Or like Kill Bill, when she wakes up in the thing and punches her way out, and the whole like first sequence of the movie for a long time is just her killing people. Mm-hmm. It's like okay, I guess that's what we're doing now. I kind of do like that. Kevin, mm-hmm. I was very proud of myself for figuring out this mystery.
Yeah, you nailed it.
You know why?
Why?
Because the side character that you liked had too much exposition in that one scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was Yoshida, right?
Yeah, I liked Yoshida. I liked him as an investigator, part of that investigative team, because he seemed smart, what he was doing. And then he has this sort of takedown of Sir Toby. And it isn't, they don't even bring up sort of the idea of who is behind, who the mastermind is, right? They drop it a couple of times just so it's there. But as far as the narrative, they don't really get the audience thinking too much about who it is, what that's about, right? And so by the time they're starting to shift to like, this is the part of the story where we need to do this, then you start to think, okay, well, who would have the ability to do this or that? And we figure out, oh, okay, this guy, wait a minute, this is a guy who has the tech experience and we know he has some money. So all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's who this is.
Yeah. Our system doesn't work for 99% of us, yet we're all forced to pay into it. Except for the ones at the very top. The only ones who really benefit from all of this are the only ones who can choose to opt out.
I thought that they did, at least for me, a good enough job of sort of hiding the idea that we need to find out who the mastermind is, that we could possibly do that, and who the people are that are, are the good subjects. The opposite of that is Milo, because Milo is kind of a giveaway because he's the only character that we see come in with a point of view in episode 1. And so you're like, why are we seeing him? Why do we need to know anything about this guy? We've signaled that. So later on, we're like, oh, well, it's either Kate or Milo. It's obviously Kate. We're like already like, bullshit. We know it's Milo. We know it's Milo because he came in like looking a little weird and we've already seen him on camera. So we don't know anything about Kate. It's obviously Milo. But coming back to Yoshida, I like the way they handled that. And I think he had sort of a great, villainous explanation you
Not
know, at the end.
villainous. It was
heroic.
Heroic. Well, yeah, he explains why he did what he did.
That's right. He wanted to fuck over the rich people. See, what gave it away to me is that all that exposition about his background and who he is was in one scene. And I was like, they're telling us this is like Chekhov's accountant right here. They're telling us everything we need to know about this guy in one quick scene. Why? So that's what sort of I was like, there's something here. And then later when they started talking about a mastermind, I'm like, it's got to be him. I can't imagine who else, because he's in the inside. Mm-hmm. He can guide the investigation.
It's playing fair with the audience that he's among the characters. It's not all of a sudden they bring in some big heavy that nobody knows anything about.
Yeah. So, Laura, what do you think about this haves and have-nots theme? The crime is all about fucking over billionaires.
Well, and it's also about the role that people will go to for money, and that sort of slippery slope and that path you can go down when money becomes the incentive in this way. You've got this theme of the have and the have-nots, the workers, like I said before, you've got Zara going in for her review, and they're basically like, yeah, you're great at your job, but you're just going to stay in your job and you're never going to make any more money. And she's gone back to her cubicle. Luke, who, never going to progress. So they're in this cycle of, partying and going out and just kind of feeling stuck where they are at their station in life. And it's that, what happens, they're when Luke's like, what would you do if you had $100,000? Think of all the things you could do. And
think of all the wine you could buy after work.
Think of all the Coke you could put up your nose, Luke. So I think, it's one of those, on one hand, you can just watch this and have fun watching this, because this is just a show that you really don't have to think too much about, because it's entertaining. Right. But at the other part of it, if you're doing when I'm sitting down to make notes and think about what would I talk about, I'm like, there's definitely that theme here where you see the fruit of the poisonous tree, how this one action that was started with this, plan to supposedly just move some money around, then, snowballs into this situation where all these people are hurt or dead. And who's really making out better in the end for this? I mean, maybe Zara. I don't know. But, it's just, it's that slippery slope of corruption and what happens when that, carrot of the money takes over in a way that people do things they never would do normally, because it's going to change everything and make their life so much better.
Toby, could you do me a favor and just read your final note that you put down for this series?
I said, the conclusion is kind of stupid, but I'm totally with that guy. Fuck those capitalist pricks.
All right. Let's leave it there.
I wish I'd leaned into it a little bit more, because I feel in retrospect, you look at it and you're like, well, the thing with Zara and her buddy, what's his name?
Luke.
They're kind of what he's talking about, right? Is that this sort of finance, big finance, is sort of inaccessible to all but a very small elite group of people. And they're here working to kind of facilitate stuff, and are just realizing that it's just completely beyond them, right? It's just that's nothing that's ever going to happen to them. And that's part of their motivation. But it kind of comes up a little bit, but it doesn't really stick out as being throughout the whole thing. And then this guy at the end kind of explains it all. And I the sentiment feels real to me. The stuff that he was saying, again, I wish they could have leaned in on that stuff a little bit more, because I think there is, at the end, they're kind of making a point about great wealth and normal people's access to anything that these people can do. And, but it's just the last 30 seconds of the show, it's kind of weird that they leave it till then, when it could have been thematically kind of throughout. So anyway, fuck those capitalist pricks.
On February 13th, Crime 101 hits theaters.
What is it that you do?
I take high-value items and make them disappear.
So you're a thief.
This guy's a ghost. There's no DNA. He's in and out in seconds.
Your guy's untraceable.
Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Barry Keoghan, and Halle Berry. One crime connects them all.
We're good at this.
Yeah.
Crime 101, directed by Bart Layton. Rated R, under 17 on minute without parent. Only in theaters February 13th.
He's Kenny Mayne, the funny guy from ESPN.
Formerly. He's Cooper Manning, the more intelligent and handsome of the Manning brothers.
And he's Brian Baumgartner. But to me, he'll always be Kevin from The Office.
Yeah, you and everybody else. Together, we're the hosts of the new comedy golf podcast, We Need a Fourth.
From Smartless Media and SiriusXM.
It's like a cold beer after a round. You hear the strangest and most bizarre golf stories from our friends, athletes, celebrities, and comedians.
It's all about how much we love golf and how much we hate golf. New episodes are out every week. Listen now and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Could just be anywhere, just on a couch. Doesn't matter.
DSW, birthplace of the humble brag. Here, the shoes are so good, no one would ever know how little you paid, if you didn't go telling everyone, that is. And with never-ending options for every style, mood, and occasion, all at really great prices, we'll definitely give you something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands, or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you, at prices that get your budget, at DSW stores or at DSW.com. Let us surprise you.
Why have we asked our contractor we found on Angie.com to be our kids' legal guardian? Because he took such good care when redoing our basement that we knew we could trust him to care for our kids, all 8 of them, should something happen to us.
Are you my dad now?
No, sorry, I do basements.
Connecting homeowners with skilled pros for over 30 years. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out Steel on Prime Video? Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for Steel?
Yeah, this is a thumbs up. This was something that I wasn't sure if we ordinarily would have watched, but I would have watched it anyway because it was a thriller that kind of gripped you from the first opening scenes where you have, I'm not going to give away too many spoilers, but just a quick thing, you have very dapper robbers dressed in black. You have London setting, big windows, and you have that line that never is going to end well. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you do exactly what I say, you won't get hurt. If you don't, you will be shot. And it's like, okay, this is going to be a fun ride. And then you've got Sophie Turner, who was Sansa on Game of Thrones, does a tremendous performance in this. She really, for me, kind of carried this show throughout. She was really fun to watch in a different type of role. And, it was 6 episodes. There's some things I would have liked to see done a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, this was an entertaining, enjoyable watch. There was great suspenseful music, kind of that synthesizer music in the background that really makes you sit up and wait to hear what happens next. And at the end of the day, that was effective. And so this is a thumbs up for me.
Toby Ball.
So I think there's 2 ways you can watch this. One is you can just watch the first episode and then stop. And in that case, it's like a huge, huge, huge thumbs up for me because it was awesome, the first episode. And then after that, it kind of becomes more, conventional. It comes back into sort of more of these conventional tropes and like different things that you see in all these kinds of shows. Although I think this one does it pretty well compared to those. So, I guess I'm a thumbs up because it's like a good example of its type. And the first episode, I was so geeked to watch the rest of it. And the fact that it didn't quite live up to it, which I guess is not surprising. Like it would have been quite something to have 6 consecutive episodes like that. But yeah, it's definitely, it keeps things moving along. It's not boring. Sophie Turner's really good. There's, the acting's good. And I think it could have been better. But again, it's like it's a good specimen of this kind of show. So thumbs up.
Kevin Flynn.
I'm also a thumbs up. I knew this was going to be good when I got a Slack message from Toby in Spain saying episode 1 is a banger.
All right.
And and he was right. Yeah, I thought the first episode is just one of the best things we've seen on TV in a long time. The question ends up being, can you sustain this story, this suspense, this interest for the next 5 episodes? I think they do. You have a big dramatic ending as well. I think that it's perfectly length. It's a perfect length. I mean, if you try to push this to 8 episodes, then you're really gonna stretch the silly putty beyond the length of repair. And so I think what they did with it was good. Sophie Turner's good. The motivations, the plotting, also very good. So it's definitely an enjoyable ride. And yes, Toby, episode 1 was a banger. And overall, I thought it was good. Thumbs up.
I'm a mild thumbs up for this. I thought it started great. I did like how at the end of every episode, I did want to watch the next one, which to me is like, that automatically is not going to be down. I did think near the end, the last third of it sort of started to fall apart. They try to force chemistry between characters that don't have any chemistry and unnecessary. There's just a lot of violence, like a lot of gratuitous, in my opinion, violence, especially in the final episode. And I didn't need that to enjoy the show. So there's just a few dings like that kind of like bring the meter down. Plus, I did guess the ending, which, I don't like that when that happens. I mean, I'm proud of myself, but I also feel like
but you hate yourself.
It's also better when you don't know, you know what I mean? It's better plotting. So yeah, mild thumbs up for me for Steel. Enjoyable watch, imperfect show. And I did love Sophie Turner in it. And I will say, Game of Thrones did her dirty, man. Not only did she get the little finger in the Joffrey, but she should have ended up on that throne. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, a little something I like to call the Crime of the Week. There's a new attraction that popped up at the Kingsgate Mall in Vancouver. Avon Collins has assembled artifacts of mistakes, missteps, and regrets in the Museum of Personal Failure. After going through a breakup, Collins started soliciting people's souvenirs of disappointment in their lives. The exhibit includes things like wedding dresses from failed marriages, cans of spilled paint, and a set of knives that don't cut. It features a wall of reject that includes rejection letters and firing notices. There's also a section called Threads of Innocence for all the fairy tales of life we believe as children but don't come true as adults. The museum is an all-dower. Several contributors say these mementos are of things that change their lives for the better, setting them on new courses for happiness and fulfillment. The exhibit proves the adage, to err is human, to display humiliating evidence of it is divine. So panel, what would your contribution be to the Museum of Personal Failure? Laura Bricker.
My home podcast studio setup that has been in progress for like 6 months or more, and
pulling
slowly
the curtain back. Yes,
continues getting. I have the microphone stand set up, and I've not yet figured out how to do the rest of it because it requires a brain. So
and time and time. Toby, what would your contribution to the Museum of Personal Failure be?
See, mine is kind of multi-layered because my contribution would be over the course of 2 books or manuscripts, I got over 150 rejections from literary agents who I was trying to get. So that's one level of it. The second level is I don't know the password for the email address that all those were sent to. And the recovery email was for a job I had 25 years ago or something, So, 25 is an exaggeration, but like a dozen years ago. So I can't even access them. So it's a double failure.
Like your second Instagram account.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my second Instagram account.
Kevin, what would be your contribution to the Museum of Personal Failure?
Well, I really regret that time that I was being held hostage in a skyscraper, and then I flagged across the way to another skyscraper by making a little gun, a little finger gun, and then those people called the SWAT team, and then so for all of that insolence, I got smashed in the face. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, so you put your smashed face on the wall?
Yeah, I mean, obviously believable. That is the international sign for we're all being held hostage. Please call the SWAT team to come up to the 89th floor. And you can definitely see, I can see you at your collating copy machine.
Through your heavily tinted windows.
Yeah. Glad I got your attention.
All right, Laura Bricker. Folks want to reach out to you online and give you encouragement to finish that podcast setup. How can they find you there?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Instagram and Blue Sky.
What about you, Toby? How can you be found online?
Hey, quick plug. I had a great time talking to the guys on Stuff They Don't Want You to Know that dropped last week. You can listen to the podcast, or they actually have it on Netflix. So you can watch my facial expressions while I listen to them talk, and then I talk. Yeah, but you can find me at TobyBallNH on Blue Sky and at TobyBall603 on Instagram, where I have started posting shit about living in Spain.
Nice.
Awesome.
What about you, Kevin? How can you be found?
I'm at Kevin P. Flynn.
You can find me everywhere at Reb Lavoie. If you want Karen Reed gossip, go to my Twitter. If you want regular stuff, go to my Blue Sky. But I'm also on Instagram. And please watch Something's Off on YouTube. It's free there. Of course, you can get the audio version on our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Partners in Crime Media for all the stuff we have back there. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our editor is the wonderful Livy Burdett. The EP of this show is Kevin. This show was recorded in the Caitlin Rogers Project Studio, also known as Studio C, the closet in our New Hampshire basement, where we also keep the good biscuits away from the other employees. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later. Game of Thrones did her dirty, man. Not only did she get the little finger in the Joffrey, but she should have ended up on that throne.
She got the
little finger into Joffrey?
She did. She did.
Yeah, she got married to the guy in the tower with the,
The
hole
guy's
where
name
they
is
threw,
Littlefinger.
They threw the people
She didn't get
through
a
the
little
hole.
finger. No,
No.
What's the actor who
Although
plays
she
that
was
guy?
also married to the imp, so that is a little finger.
Yeah,
but
yeah. The guy who played Littlefinger was on The Wire, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on the wire.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I just remember they were
is
up
he
in
like
that
the
place with the
mayor or
hole in the
something?
floor where they just chuck people out.
Yeah, I think he was the mayor. I think he was.
All right.
All right.
I don't understand what the hell we were just talking about, but that's okay.
That's fine. You don't have to.
I love it that he has no Game of Thrones references at all. You know who the imp is?
Yeah, that's Peter Dinklage. I
Yes,
read the
okay.
first book, so I
okay.
kind of know, but that was a long time. It was before the TV show came out.
He knows
so
about the sigils and the boiled wool.
He does.
All right.
Vaguely.
Partners in Crime Media.
Hi, I'm Jenny Slate, and believe it or not, someone is allowing us to have a podcast.
I'm Gabe Liedman. I'm Max Silvestri, and we've been friends for 20 years, and we like to reach out to kind of get advice on how to live our lives. It's called I Need You Guys. Should I give my baby fresh vegetables?
Can I drink the water at the hospital?
My landlord plays the trombone, and I can't ask him to stop.
You should make sure that you subscribe so that you never miss an episode.
I need you, girl.
Why have I asked my electrician I found on Angie.com to bury my pet hamster? I was so moved by how carefully he buried my electrical wires, I knew I could trust him to bury my sweet nibbles after his untimely end.
This is very strange. Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.